Webster. That was such a beautiful introduction. And you're such a great friend. And thank you so much to everyone that's here tonight. I'm so happy to be in this program. So inspired by all of you. And thank you. I will read from chapter 1 of my big work in progress. It's called Tacuba, 1923. Our mothers listened to radio piped in from the capital and smoked hand-rolled cigarettes in the coffee fields and never washed the black dirt from under their nails. And we knew the girl with violet eyes who lived 100 years. Graciela de Los Angeles might have been a living saint. We remember the mornings when we were all young, walking with Graciela on our way to school as the sun became heavy, how we would feel her body charging the air like rain. Together, we sat in hard metal chairs in rows, and the gringa nuns taught us how to read. Our mothers told us that after Graciela was born, the women passed her around the sorting room like a sack of yuca. She never cried. "What a baby," they would say as each one took her body in turn. What a baby. Her mother, Socorrito, would set Graciela, fat and plum-lipped, on the floor, as Socorrito and our mothers sorted out the coffee berries to dry on stretched muslin. The rest of us, we were told, stayed strapped to our mothers' backs, watching Graciela. When they let us down, we crawled over each other to cup her face in our tiny hands. We didn't remember that part, but we've heard the story told so many times that we believe it. There are parents in the field, and we're always listening. Our names are Lourdes, Maria, Lucia, and Cora. But we're here to tell what really happened to Graciela when she was small. Before the contests and the massacre, before she became famous, before she married that husband of hers. We know these woods well. Before this forest became El Parque Nacional Bosque del Imposible, these woods belonged to Graciela. She and her mother lived inside a shack a half-mile from where we sit now. Now the petroglyphs are marked by signs and translations, and slick footbridges accompany each waterfall. You can take a tour, climb tired, silent Izalco. Let us be clear, we've been dead for nearly 80 years now, but we never forgot a thing. And we come back sometimes. We wait until someone asks for us, and even then, we return just for a few moments. Most of the time, we return here to the forest, just a mile from where we were raised. Sometimes we return to the village, and we find ourselves in plastic chairs in the front porch of a familiar-feeling house with white peeling paint. Some of the people who live here now are kind enough to live as las onces. A little juice, our sour green mango with chili and salt, Busa's heaped with curtido. We say hello in the market, sit on porches and wave to the neighbors, but we're not really here all the time. We're the lucky ones from our village. The others can't move like we can, and we attribute our fortune to Graciela, of course. Well, can you really call it fortune? You must forgive our digressions. Sometimes the memories come to us too quickly, especially during the first few hours we are back. Most of us were 18, Maria only 16 on the day of the massacre. The men touched down on our town just for a day, like a storm. On the day of the massacre, Maria was counting chicken eggs outside the finca. Lucia had just turned on the radio inside the sorting room, and Lourdes, ignoring the basket of berries left to separate on the mat, had just begun to dance. Cora was scrubbing the basement stairs of the convent. We had lived through earthquakes and mudslides, the eruption of Izalco even, but not those men from the capital, burning everything to the ground. They were set on killing each one of us. But Graciela escaped, and since then, she's been helping us to come back. We watched the years as they passed, from the trees, from the sky, on the backs of birds, and from the silty bottoms of coffee cups. For 40 years, we watched El Gran Pendejo in his palace in the capital, pruning in that marble bathtub, spouting his nonsense like a whale. A few times, he invoked us with his thoughts, and we sang into his ears at bedtime, hoping to frighten him to his death. And when his chauffeur stabbed him during his lush Honduran exile, shattering El Gran Pendejo's twilight years of guayabera shirts and teenage concubines, yes, we saw that too. When we are here, our bodies return to us. Those you can see, we're not young anymore. Our bodies keep getting older. Would you believe that we are nearly 100 years old now? We return and compare our breasts as we used to in life, though they're lumpier now, like bags of grain. We rub each other's backs, which ache as soon as we enter these bodies, and we trace where the veins have risen through our papery skins. You would think that our faraway bodies would have broken down. Who knows if we'll return one day and our skin won't be waiting for us. But returning to our bodies, even for a few hours, even though they're ancient and worn, it feels good. Over the century, we've learned all the dances since we've been gone. Las cumbias colombianas, el truc, la rumba, el mambo, el baile de torito, la chancuchona, la bachata, las merengues nuevas, las salsas nuevas, I didn't want to roque, but los bailes de reggaeton, por favor. That one we cannot do without laughing. But again, we digress. We remember the way that Sister Infanta tipped the point of Graciela's chin up with the ruler and stared, as if the nun knew everything we couldn't yet understand about Graciela. And the afternoons, when we washed our faces beside Graciela, the water turning holy as it ran over her skin, and Graciela's hair swinging on her back in silk ropes when we filed downstairs for Latin. And we remember that night in 1923, yes, the night we first discovered the properties of Graciela's magic. We slept all together in the sorting room, the only place large enough to contain us, and only on the most special occasions our mothers let us stay there, on the floor of the darkest room of the finca. In that same room, our grandmothers had been the last to ferment indigo into a bubbling amber tea. Our grandmothers had purplish hands, and a scent of piss hung over them from the indigo. The marks and the acrid smell of indigo remained on their bodies for years, even though coffee had come in, and the viejas had stopped working indigo long before we were born. Not too long after the massacre, and after Graciela had released us to hover over our world, a gringa wrote a poem. Cora remembers it. Recite that one part for us, please, Corita? Okay. Many escaped at night to eat poison roots or hang themselves in the forest. Yes, those were our grandmothers. All our lives, we saw the high beams in the sorting room stained with a violet sap, and the thick, ancient smell of indigo vats remained in our noses, reminding us of our grandmothers, mixing with the rot of coffee berries softening from their stones in piles heaped by our mothers. What were we saying? Ah, yes. 1923, our town, on the night we remember sleeping in the sorting room all together for Lourdes' birthday. We were all 9 then, except for Maria, who was still 7. The finca owners didn't care if we stayed, as long as we were out before our mothers arrived to work. We played the radio low, turning the dial through soft fuzz until we heard the silver strains of Cadena Panamericana. A love song poured out, heavy with strings and a tragic accordion, a song about finding the beloved, after years and years of betrayal, after exile, and after ruin. We'd heard our mothers sing the song. We parroted its words and gazed into each other's eyes lustily. Dicen que te arranca de mi vida, arranca de mi vida. Tear you out of my life by the roots. Something strange happened when the song came on. We turned to our Graciela all at once. Somehow we knew, at that moment, to look into the face of our friend, a friend we loved because our mothers had picked coffee together since they were our own age, a friend we had grown up beside, our friend because the gringa nuns had come to our town when we were small and opened a school for us, and whom we knew because she was like us, skinny legs and scabbed knees, long heavy hair and torn dresses and dusty feet. But in the moment the song came onto the radio, Graciela's face changed, and we all knew to look. Days later, Maria would say, Graciela's face became sterner and her hair shiny and straight. Lucia saw lightning pass across Graciela's face, but there was no storm that night. Cora said again and again that Graciela became a sleek, amber-eyed cat. None of us believed her, but Lourdes was certain that Graciela had, for just a moment, actually become the silvery voice on the radio, La Güerita del Norte. I still remember her, Lourdes says now. Her face got long like it was being pulled by invisible hands, and her skin went white. None of us had seen the face of La Güerita del Norte. We'd only heard her voice, crystalline and rich, on the radio our mothers